Guys, why are positions important? Well, in life, if you're a nobody, what Frank Lucas said, you are what you are in this world. You're either somebody or you're nobody. Our job is to make sure our dogs become something to us. This isn't about y'all, people. We enjoy taking care of our dogs. Stan's going to walk us through why it's important, and I'm going to help a little bit to put your dog in as many movements, positions as possible. Stay tuned, people. So right now, Stan's putting the dogs in all kind of weirdo stuff. I asked him once, I said, hey man, why them dogs doing all them twirls, man? These ain't no dolphins. And he said, I'll be honest, I don't know what he said. What did you say?
I did not have an answer that day. And then I actually broke it down and actually thought about why we teach them the movement, why we do it, all the fun stuff. And then Jamarcus and I were just talking about that beforehand. It teaches them how to use their back end. So it's just like an athlete. If an athlete doesn't know how to turn their hips, they're not going to be a good defender. They're not going to be a good offender. So it's the same thing here. If we want these dogs to be doing a lot of agility, athletic stuff, they need to know how to use their body. Because in some situations, they're not going to have a lot of space to get through anything, so they got to learn to put their feet. And that's why we do the catwalks. That's why we do the A-frame and all of that stuff, just so they learn how to move.
Okay, and that is actually interesting because from a technical standpoint, 70% of the dog's body weight is carried. Most of their movements are front wheel drive. So your dog's all front wheel drive, and some dogs are literally built, especially the French Bulldog, like a trapezoid. So you got all this upper body and then a rear this small, so they lack function, stiff stifles. They're overexerting themselves due to how they're already poorly been bred, to say the least. So if you do have a dog that he's going to compete with, he's going to get out and do agility competitions, potentially herding and things, and the dog doesn't know how to use his body, a lot of times that's when injury happens. Injury happens when you lose control or don't have control. So when you do see a dog backing up, it always intrigues and interests me. Because, that's crazy. But why? But how, Sway? Why? So in this case, teaching the dog some movements, where do you begin getting the dog confident with backing up and using its rear?
So the first thing I like to start with is circles. And at the very beginning, you may do wide circles so the dog understands, but then you start tightening it up. And then you want to see if you can go the opposite way. And this is going to come in handy if we go left. He can turn his body in that close proximity. If I also want to get him around me, he knows how to use that back end. And it all starts with very simple movements. Circles. Backing up. Down. You're going to flip on us. And all of these things are just going to go for what we're doing going forward. Agility stuff, they gotta stop on a dime, turn quick, jump, explode. And if he never used his back end, like Trevor said, your dog's more likely gonna get injured. They're not gonna be as fast, they're not gonna be as efficient, so your dog's gonna get tired quicker. I want this dog to be able to do anything and everything. We just did a 5K the other day, and I'm like, I don't know how he's gonna do. He did very well. He stayed right up there with us, and we ran about a 23-minute 5K. And for y'all that don't know, that's about 3.5 miles. What else, Trav? What else?
Positions, people, for the most part, I would also say use it as an opportunity to build your communication with your dog. Dogs don't really have a lot going on in their lives nowadays, unfortunately, but back in the day, they were bred to do something very specific. So much so that there were people who created new breeds based on fine-tuning their experience. Let me be very clear in saying this. The Jack Russell Terrier, objectively, was created because the dude loved fox hunting. Fox hunting. Why would you hunt a fox? Who eats fox? Probably nobody, but there are people who need, we'll just say, I don't want to say relieve stress by killing something, but objectively, they fancy the sport. And hunting, like fishing in some cases, it is a sport. So when dogs like Border Collies are no longer out in the pastures or on the farms herding sheep, it's good to help stimulate these highly intelligent, active dogs by way of connecting to their person, working through things that they, already can learn, because they technically, any dog can realistically learn anything. There's a couple idiots out there, but there are some dogs that really they'll surprise you. And it's not surprising, it's just how much time people really spend with the dogs. So I would say position training for you guys. Jonathan Katz said it, and he's a cold dog trainer. He is. He's a cold one, and I don't even know dog trainers like that. Stan's definitely our guy, but Katz just said, I remember when we was talking to him, he saw these old ladies and they were dancing with their dogs. He said, I need to learn that. Now mind you, he's a guy who's sending dogs. He done got three dogs, PSA level 3, whatever, but he saw this dog dancing. He says, that's what I need to learn. Because you know what that does? It builds even a little bit more connection with him and his dog, teaches him a little bit more about dogs. You'd be surprised how much adversity your dog can go through and how diverse you need to make your dog's life and experiences. And it just betters you as a handler, owner, and potentially lover of your dog. So for now, stay tuned, take care of your dogs. Make sure you have good treats. Definitely learn all you can. Spend time with your dog. Positions are fun. You want to go to Iron Sharp K9 on all platforms. Look at his shorts, look at his story. You'll see him doing some stuff with Boots, because these are things that this is the first time I've seen this stuff. And you go, that's interesting and good, and it's fun and it's entertaining.
Yep. Hey, it's funny you said Jonathan Katz brought up the doggy dancing. I started looking at the trick stuff, and I'm like, how do you get the dog to do that? How do you get a dog to stand on his back legs and hop? I seen a lady had 4 dogs in a train. It was like a Congo line. They was all
around the train.
You can't force a dog to do that. You can't correct a dog to do that. You have to motivate them. So I was like, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, guys. So keep an open mind. Keep an open mind and keep having fun with your dogs. I keep telling you. And, you know, to me, it made sense, and now it's become a thing. When I say take care of the dog, you go, it just made sense to me. And part of taking care of the dog is going out and seeing what your dog enjoys and what it wants to do. Ego's not a ball-driven dog. He'll go get it for about 3 or 4 times. But if I threw a tug or something he could bite on 100 times, he'd go get it. That's the just of a Tron. He'll go get that ball 1,000 times. But he's trying to get on the tug a little bit too. And I think they want to learn more. Hera's already using her back legs, as I say, in the general. I mean, I already got him up with some stuff. I was laying on the floor the other day, and he climbed up me and was on the bed. I'm sitting down, he walked up my whole leg, my shoulder, and was on the bed. I said, man, you got to get off this bed, man. He's 9 weeks old. You go, this is going to be a problem. Because once he figures it out, he started running back and trying to run up and jump and get on the bed. I said, I probably got about 2 more weeks.
Yeah, I was about to say, them small dogs, they grow up
They
quick,
got some
boy.
springs on him.
Quick.
I got about 2 more weeks before he's like, brother, wherever you going, I'm with it. Stay tuned, take care of your dogs. We got a lot more coming, people. Border Collies are great dogs. Thank you, Stan, for sharing.